Okay, welcome to lesson 22. We're going to work with something called a switch statement, and something new. It's not something difficult, but it is new. It's a lot like an if statement, and it does the same thing. It just looks different. So to get started, let's, if you could copy this down on our Atom file. I'm calling it switch to, I have two files here, switch and switch to. Call it whatever you want, switch statement or switch, whatever. Okay, copy that down and I'll come back and explain what that is, and we will write some more JavaScript. Okay, so you got this down. Let me explain what we got. We've got some HTML up here. We have an input tag. This is basically a text box that takes user input. And then a typical P tag with an output that we've been using all along. Okay, so this would look like this. All right, so we've got a little text box here where we can enter some stuff. And you notice it says enter first name. That's our placeholder, enter first name. Okay, so that's the HTML. So we started our code with a constant, which it could be let, but I use constant here because it's something that's not the name input referring to the input field is a constant. We don't change it. The value in the input will change, but the name input referring to this field will not change. So that's why I can use constant there. So we've got an input, name input, and then we add an event listener to that input field. And when the event is changed, meaning we've changed the text in the field, we're going to call a function called output name, which we have not written yet. Okay, and change basically means I've changed the text and I've entered it with my enter button. And then down here we just grab the output right here, this paragraph with the ID output, because I'm going to put some stuff in there. Okay, so we need to write this function called output name. So function output name, and then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab whatever text is in our input. So I'm going to create a new variable, let first name equal, and I'm using first name because I'm asking the user to enter their first name. So let first name equal name input dot value. That is the value, that is the text value they type in that box. Okay, now here comes the switch statement. So this is what I do with the switch statement. I say switch then I'm going to put that variable first name in there. Okay. I'm going to write a little bit more code and then I'll explain what we're doing. Case, quote, Jim, message equals, I got to declare message somewhere. Message equals, you have mail. And I'm going to declare message up here. Let message equal empty quotes. So what I'm saying is it's a string, but it's an empty string. And then after message down here, I say break. Okay, so what's going on here? Switch first name. So first name is the value of whatever the user puts in that text box. And then we're saying if or in case first name equals Jim, then the message will be you have mail. And then stop or break out of that. Okay, so let's do another case. Case or in case the first name is Betty, then the message will be you are due for a raise. And then we need to break off that. And then usually I indent this, by the way, so let me do that. Indent this after the case. Tab that over. Okay. It reads a lot cleaner when you do that. A lot cleaner. And then usually with a switch statement, we have a default. Default. Default message. Something went wrong. And that is a end of our switch statement. I have too many curly braces here. So the default, all that is saying, well, if it's not any of these cases, then assign this text to the message, just in case it doesn't work. Okay, and then at the end of our function, after our switch statement, I want to output that message. So output dot inner text equals first name plus a comma at space plus message. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this and you'll see what it's going on here. So save that and reload this. So I only have two names in my code here, Jim and Betty. But theoretically, if you're doing a case statement or switch statement like this, you have a whole bunch of cases. You might have 20, you might have 50. This might be like a group of names that are in your database or in a list that you have on your website, maybe visitors or members of your website, and you may have them all listed out. So let's see what happens here. I'll reload that. So if I say Jim, plus I'm going to press enter. Jim, comma, you have mail. If I say Betty, there we go. So, excuse me. All right, Betty, you are, I forgot the E and R, due for a raise. Okay. So you get the idea. It kind of customizes the message based on the name. Okay. And of course, we could do anything with the name. It doesn't have to be just a message. It could run a whole separate function, or could do all kinds of different stuff. And again, like I said, you would definitely have more than two cases. So that's the switch statement. It does the same thing as an if statement. It's just sometimes it's kind of cleaner and better looking to write it this way. But it does the same thing. And I think in another lesson coming up soon, we're going to use the switch statement. So that's why I introduced it here. Okay, thanks for joining me.